something that has been predicted for quite some time. Although now it's happening from Uvalde, Texas. A Robb Elementary staffer has started the legal action against the manufacturer who built the firearm used to break existing laws by a criminal. Why don't we prosecute Ford, GM, Chrysler, or any other automobile manufacturer when someone drives into a parade, killing multiple people? That person wasn't even drunk. Why don't we prosecute car manufacturers or the alcohol company when someone drives drunk? Why didn't we go after Instapot or whatever other make the pressure cooker was at the Boston Marathon? If you ask liberals these questions, well, that's just ludicrous. Those are not weapons. They were perverted. They used them to break the law. But if you go after a firearm manufacturer, well, the firearm is only a weapon. Its only use is to kill people and to murder people. There is no other use. Despite the fact that if you take suicides out of gun deaths in this country, you cut them by more than half. If you take Chicago out of the statistics for this country, gun violence, not an epidemic. If you take both of those and defensive use out of all of the gun death statistics, we're one of the lowest countries on the planet. Because suicide, no matter how tragic it is, if they don't have a gun, they'll find a knife or a bottle of pills, or they'll just do something else. You take defensive use out, meaning someone was attacked by a criminal who was going to break the law to harm them, and they said, no, I'm not going to lay here and take it. A woman in West Virginia recently did this using her legally owned AR-15 to stop a criminal coming after a graduation party she was at. That didn't make national news. Sutherland Springs, where the shooter should have been a prohibited possessor because he was dishonorably discharged from the Air Force, but the Air Force didn't report it in a timely manner. So the NICS check didn't find it because the data wasn't there, and that's the fault of the Air Force. The man outside who stopped the shooter and drove him off using his AR-15, he was actually demonized in a couple of stories for using such a horrible weapon, until people started commenting in their thousands, tweeting in their thousands, you're demonizing a man who saved lives. And the stories were quietly deleted from websites. As I've said in many other videos here and in other places, we are being pushed by government tyrants who want to control every aspect of human life. They're urging people to sue the manufacturer of a product that was used to break existing laws, because they're going to say, well, if we just get rid of the guns, criminals will just magically obey the law. Ignoring things like a mass stabbing in LA where the suspect then barricaded himself inside a hospital room. Ignoring that the man who went after Justice Kavanaugh did not have an AR, he had a pistol. Ignoring that murder is already illegal. Ignoring that in cities like Chicago, where it is a gun control utopia, crime is through the roof because people who break the law don't care that it's illegal to break the law. We need, and I've said this so many times, we need to vote them all out. And whoever replaces them, they need to be very clearly told, you are to honor your oath to the Constitution. If your constituency does not like the Constitution in some way, submit an amendment and do it constitutionally, legally. Get a 2/3 vote in the House, then a 2/3 vote in the Senate, then send it to the states and get 3/4 of the states to agree to an amendment to the Constitution. If you can't do that, you don't then say, well, my people want this, so we're just going to do it anyway. No. You don't get to say that the founders created the system that would stop tyrants from taking power and just subjugating the country. You don't get to say, well, the founders are blocking me, so I'm just going to ignore them. Obama infamously said and bemoaned the fact that the founders created a system that prevented him from fundamentally changing this country. And when he said that, millions of people cheered that he couldn't just shred the Constitution. That is their goal. They can't just pass a law saying, well, guns are banned, guns are banned. They can't do that. So they sue the manufacturer and say, well, you built it and then someone else used it in a way that broke the law. So now you're going to pay. They can't ban guns, so they'll just harass the manufacturers, costing them every dime they can. And whether they win or not in court, they're still going to have to spend the money. And some of them are going to decide, screw it, we'll just go out of business. This was Daniel Defense. Daniel Defense is not a cheap weapon. My question is, how did an 18-year-old with no job and with no high school education, he was a dropout, how did he buy 2 AR-15s, reportedly over 100 magazines, and the ammo to fill them, and have a $70,000 truck when he didn't have a license? How did he then carry 60 or more pounds of ammunition while running? There are so many holes in this story about Uvalde. Why is it that the killers in many of the recent mass shootings were known to the FBI before the event? The killer in Parkland, there were multiple instances where he should have been arrested, but he never was. The day is coming, here or at the throne of God, where the truth will come out. Sometimes I say I'd like to be there when they ask Hillary Clinton how many people she had killed. And when she's facing the Creator God, she won't be able to lie. I'd like to be there when Christopher Wray has to explain why his agency knew about all these people who committed all these atrocities. But none of us will cheer on that day. None of us will say, see, we knew. No, none of us will. We'll just be saddened that we had to watch all of those things happen while people who thought they were above the law, who thought they were above God, did whatever they wanted to maintain power. The day is coming when the truth will be brought into the light. And it won't be a pretty or happy day. Because even if it's here on earth and people are put in prison or more punishment applied, it won't change what they've done. We need fundamental change in Congress. And in my mind, that means 535 people told, you're not reelected. Go home. You're never allowed back. You don't get your lifetime pension. You get to go home and get a job like the rest of the people in this country. We need to tell them in a firm, clear voice, no more 40, 50-year career in politics. You get 2 terms. No more. And no, you can't do 2 in the House, 2 in the Senate, 2 as vice, 2 as president. No. You get 2 terms, period. And all of you, you've already had your 2. So go home. Only when we finally enforce the Constitution, which includes that the people in Congress are public servants, only when that happens, might this country begin to approach what it once was. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so that you get all of these, because I'm not on a schedule and probably won't be for a while. Also, please make sure that you keep it civil in the comments. We're here to discuss, dissent, and debate, not argue like toddlers. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and God bless.